What is up, everybody? How's it going? Welcome in to the Sacramento Sports Kings recap. My name is Chris Watkins, joining you live after the Sacramento Kings take down the Los Angeles Lakers in Crypto.com Arena in the Crypt by a score of 130 to 120. What an emotional ride this game was, as all Kings games seem to always be. From the Kings down, I think it was as much as 18 in the first quarter to being up 22 to almost losing that lead multiple times. And then eventually at the end of it, pretty much taking care of the Los Angeles Lakers by the end of this thing, again, by a score of 130 120. Huge career night for De'Aaron Fox. He ties his career high with 44 points. Which is spectacular. Great to see it happen against the Lakers. I'm not 100% sure. I'll double check right now, but if I'm not mistaken, that 44 points came against the Pelicans. It came against the Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors. So it's actually great to hear that De'Aaron's two career highs are against the Warriors and against the Lakers. You love to see that. And I think this is going to be a game that we're probably going to remember for a while. Malik Monk was terrific tonight offensively, really provided the spark that we didn't see either of those two guys provide the other night against the Bulls. Malik had 0 points in the second half of that game against the Bulls. De'Aaron had 1 point and 1 assist in the fourth quarter the other night. Tonight, that was not the case at all. De'Aaron and Malik both laid it on in that second half. Let me see if I can get their final numbers here. De'Aaron had 24 points in the second half here, and just in that fourth quarter alone, let me see if I can get here. De'Aaron had 12 points in the fourth. He was 6 of 11. He was a -2, actually. Malik had 4 points. He was 2 of 7 in that fourth quarter. But it was all good enough to get the win. They exploded in that second quarter, 44 points, outscored the Lakers 44 to 20. This was a win that the Kings desperately needed, honestly, at this point in the season. There we go. My bad. That's my fault. There we go. I had it turned off in my software there. There we go. My bad, y'all. So yeah, absolutely. Where was I? So I don't even know where I cut off. But man, yeah, it was a really good effort tonight from a lot of the guys. I'm seeing in here Davion had a terrific night. He hit 4 threes. This was a great performance from him. He's really found his game here recently. Honestly, like I think the thing that Davion has struggled with, obviously, is the offensive consistency, but It felt like he was settling too much for that jumper. It felt like he kind of let everybody, all the noise, get in his head about the fact that he kind of had to knock down threes, and which is true. He does have to knock down perimeter jumpers in order to stay in this lineup, but it's not the only way. It's not the only way he can be effective, and he found getting to the rack was a way that he could really have an advantage on guys. He's really fast. He's got a great first step, and part of the advantage of being a smaller guy is you can definitely beat a lot of bigger defenders to the rack, and Davion did that. But it was great to see him knock down threes tonight from all areas of the floor. Hit a corner three. He hit one from the wing. He hit one from the top of the key. Just really sprayed it all over the place. And you love to see that. You absolutely love to see Davion hitting his shot, and especially at this point in the season, as the rotation's kind of getting pinned down. Again, the big thing for me tonight, I think this actually was, I said this as my mic was busted there, but tonight felt like the point guards won the game, which is not something as a collective unit I feel like I've said all year. Davion played terrific. Again, 12 points for him. Keon Ellis to me changed the game. When Keon checked in, when the Lakers were up by whatever it was, 15 points or 18 points, it felt like after Keon checked in, all of that stopped. I mean, just his defensive effort. He was flying around, making steals, getting hands in the passing lane. He hit a three as well at one point in the game. Would love to see more of that from Keon, but it just felt like his defensive intensity kind of changed the tide here. Yeah, I'm looking at it actually. In the first quarter alone, Keon Ellis in 40 seconds, he was a plus 10 after he checked in. So just in 2 minutes, Keon gave the Kings life. And that's exactly what I think he can provide to this team. We saw him start in that Minnesota game that they won with De'Aaron Fox out, and then not play at all in their last game in the loss against Chicago. That was really, really strange. As strange as my camera now lagging all over the place. Just consistent issues tonight. Just having tons of issues. So I'm going to switch over to this camera, see if maybe that works. If that fixed things, there we go. So that fixed things, and now it's super tight on me. But I thought the point guards were terrific tonight. I think that really, if you look at the games from Keon Ellis, Davion Mitchell, and De'Aaron, that to me tells the story of why the Kings won. Of course, De'Aaron with his career high, that's obvious. It speaks for itself. Davion, though, hitting those shots, and Keon just completely changing the game. If I could give a collective game ball, it would be to those three guys. I think that those three guys did a great job of just kind of I just think they did a great job of really making their impact known. And I feel like I've said a lot of times how I feel about D'Angelo Russell kind of being one of the worst defenders in the NBA, perimeter defenders in the NBA. I think that they really abused him tonight, and I love to see it because you didn't really see either of the Lakers guards get it going. You didn't see Austin Reeves really have a big impact when he finished with 18 points. And D'Angelo Russell, who has been hot as hell. D'Angelo Russell has been the reason why the Lakers have been playing so well recently. He has found his shot from the perimeter, and he has been a legitimate third option for the Lakers. I know they hoped it would be Austin Reeves consistently, much like how the Kings kind of hoped that Keegan would step into that consistent third scorer role. That's been D'Angelo Russell for this team really for the past couple weeks. He's been on fire, and the Kings' ability to slow him down and make him a non-factor tonight, I think was huge for the Lakers just never really getting into a rhythm after that first quarter. So big shout out to the Kings point guards tonight who I maybe can combine all their stats. Let's see here, 56 and Keon actually – wait a second here. Oh, okay. I was looking at the wrong one. I was like, I swear Keon hit a three. Keon finished with a plus 17 tonight in 13 minutes, which was the second highest on the team behind Malik Monk, who was, that definitely tracks with Keon. With Malik having the highest plus minus, because this was a game where you felt Malik's presence tonight. Like I've heard a lot of people here recently say, Malik Monk is probably my favorite King. And a night like tonight is exactly why. If you watch a night like tonight, you just see the energy he brings. You see how when he's cooking, really, it gets everybody else going, and he just has a different energy to him that I think this team really needs and really kind of feeds off of. And I think when Malik plays well, this team tends to play well. And you had to know, Malik is an ex-Laker, and I do think he had a little bit of something for him. We heard Katie and Kyle talking about on the broadcast how Malik was chirping with AD all day. I know they have a really good relationship. AD has poked fun at Malik in the past. I remember through the media, he said something about having to text Malik about something talking trash. So yeah, you had to know Malik Monk is the exact type of dude to when he's playing and old teammates, old friends, he's always going to want to put it on and put on a show. And it was really great to see Malik in that environment, to see a quiet Staples or crypto.com arena. You love to see it. You just absolutely love to see it. Something you don't love to see, and it's kind of a unfortunate thing to talk about, but it really stuck out tonight. I just think Kevin Huerter's defense, man, it's been a problem here. Like, I think you are seeing teams fully attack him on the defensive end. You're seeing that it's becoming an every night thing. Like, you're seeing against Minnesota, they attacked him on the first possession, and then when they played Chicago the other night, again, very first possession, they go at Kevin Huerter. Tonight, if you watch against the Lakers, they attacked him again in the very first couple of possessions there. And it's becoming a problem where he can't stay on the floor. He plays, I think he played under 12 minutes tonight. He played 11 minutes, 42 seconds, 1 of 3 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, a -5, only 2 points, 3 fouls in those 12 minutes. So he finishes with more fouls than points. It's just, I don't know, man. Like, he has to hit shots. I think that's the thing that's really, really clear, is that if Kevin Huerter is not hitting shots, it's really hard to justify his minutes. And especially if Malik is going to be shooting the way he's shooting, and especially, Malik 8 assists tonight as well, dishing the way he can set up Sabonis in the pick and roll. You just have to opt for Malik. And it's sad because Kevin was such a big piece of this offense last year, of this team, period, last year. He just hasn't been able to fit as seamlessly as what it looked like last year. And it's got to be frustrating for him. I think I was looking at his numbers earlier today, just comparing and contrasting what he did in Atlanta with what he's doing here in Sacramento. And the thing that really stuck out to me was Kevin's kind of back in the same situation he was in Atlanta. If you look at his Atlanta stats, I was under the impression, just from what I remember seeing of Kevin in Atlanta, that he was a starter. He was in that starting lineup. He was their starting 2, and that's how it was. But if you look at the numbers, and I'll look at them again right now, Kevin Huerter, he came off the bench for about 15 or 20 games in his last season in Atlanta. So if you look, he actually never really solidified any starting rotation. In his first season, in his rookie season, started 59 games, played in 75. Second year, started 48, played in 56. Third year, started in 49, played in 69. His last year in Atlanta, he started in 60 and played in 74. My point is, he was always coming off the bench. At some point, he would always get benched for somebody else. He could never 100% solidify that starting spot. And I think that really shows that. I think after a while, you see Kevin Huerter and you just kind of understand what he is. He's a dynamite shooter, but he's also a streaky shooter. And if he's not hitting a shot, and you're already not a good defensive team, it's not going to look good. And he's going to have to hit his shots in order to justify him getting minutes. So, it's tough. It's tough. I think Mike Brown's put with a difficult situation, a difficult decision. I think, a lot of people have been wondering, should you bring Malik Monk into the starting lineup? Mike Brown has been adamant that he does not want to do that. He just feels like Malik is better off the bench. He thinks that, you kind of need Malik to be a second wave of points. You have all your starters come in. You feel like, okay, honestly, it's mainly Sabonis in the first quarter. You kind of have Sabonis going, and you have Harrison Barnes. I'm just going to switch to this camera, by the way, because my camera is freaking out. But you have Harrison Barnes, you have Domantas Sabonis, you have Keegan Murray, De'Aaron Fox, of course, getting the points in the first rotation. And then, those guys get tired. You want to sub out. You need to keep one, as we saw the other night, you have to keep one of Fox or Sabonis on the floor at all times. So you take De'Aaron out. And then once you take De'Aaron out, instead of the offense going to a complete standstill, you put Malik in, and it kind of just keeps the foot on the pedal. So I understand it. I guess the counter could be, Malik, you're just going to have to play the entirety of the quarter. If we're going to put you in the starting lineup, you and Sabonis are playing the first 12 minutes of the game, and that's just how it's going to be. And maybe that's the result, but I think that they're just trying to do everything that they possibly can to not have that be the situation. I think that they, we've seen them throw Chris Duarte in there ahead of Malik Monk in the starting lineup. I just think that Mike Brown really believes in that rotational system, and it makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, I think Kevin, what you realistically want Kevin to do is just hit threes and play defense. And I think Chris Duarte can do that. And so if you can just kind of shoehorn Duarte in there and keep Malik where he is at now, where he is clearly very comfortable, I think that's the best way of approaching it. And it might be frustrating, but and you know what? Actually, funny enough, I didn't even think about it. Chris Duarte just didn't play today. He just gets the DNP CD, which I guess comes at the expense because I guess it happens because Keon Ellis gets those minutes. But I just wonder if maybe, does Herter start getting some DNPs? Is he in a situation where maybe, look, it's just not working with Herter, and you see Duarte's playing a lot better recently. Do you give Duarte, 3 games to say, we're going to give you, Herter got 12 minutes tonight. We'll give you 12 guaranteed minutes. If you play well, we'll add you to an additional rotation. You can get all the way up to 20. So we'll give you 20 minutes if you play well. And Herter, you're going to sit on the bench. We're going to play Keon Ellis. We're going to play Davion Mitchell, and we're going to play Malik Monk as the other backups. It's not ideal that we're at that point, that we're at this point in the season, and that could be where we're possibly heading. You don't want to have those kind of big decisions with 20 games left, but at the same time, having 20 games left and that amount of cushion is a lot better than 5 games. We saw Alex Len get shoehorned into the rotation last 8 games of the season. So you just got to figure out whatever you do. You got to figure out what you honestly think. You have to put pride aside, and you have to do what you think is going to be best for this group. And Kingpin says Duarte doesn't belong in the NBA. I'm not going to go that far. He might not belong in the starting rotation. He might not belong in the rotation at all. But I think with where Kevin Herter's at right now, you might just need to consider trying something different. And I'm usually not a proponent for trying something different for the sake of trying something different. But I just think that, all of these guys are professionals. They all have some skill set that they bring to the table. And, it might not be exactly what Kevin brings, but maybe something different is still better. And, with how bad Herter's playing right now, I think it's not the craziest thing to start experimenting right now. But I definitely think it's going to lead to, I think Keon Ellis at this point, to me, has earned, I won't say, 20 minutes a game, but I think he's deserved the benefit of being in the rotation until he really plays himself out of it. I mean, I just think his defensive ability. And, really, I think he's a bigger Davion Mitchell, really. Like the same level of defensive intensity. It's just he has the ability to switch on to guys. And that's where the Kings defense is at these days, is they're switching on everybody, and they're sending doubles from just about every location. And so you need guys who can disrupt ones, point guards, small forwards, centers, maybe. And they still do trust Davion to go on those bigger guys, but the reality of the situation is if Davion gets switched on to a guy like DeMar DeRozan, that's drill work. That's he's going to be able to just kind of shoot over him, and there's really nothing that Davion can do to disrupt him at all. But ideally, if Keon Ellis is there, he's 6'4", he's got some pretty long arms, some pretty good wingspan. He could disrupt the shot. He can get a hand in his face. He can maybe get his hand up towards the ball. Maybe he could even block it. And unfortunately, I mean, it's the genetic lottery, and it's just Davion, no pun intended at all, came a little short, and it's unfortunate. I think Davion is probably the harder worker, not necessarily any shot at Keon, but I think Davion's workhorse stories have been fabled for a long time. I don't even know if Keon Ellis is a more rounded player, but I think sometimes it could be as cut and dry as just Davion's not tall enough, and it's not fair. I don't love that is the reality of the situation, but I do think that if this team is looking at Davion Mitchell as a guy who can be a unique stopper, like somebody that, hey, we don't have a lot of this on our team, but you are our example of it. Or if we need to have a case of, hey, we need stops, you're our guy. It's just, honestly, he's just not the best build for something, for a role like that. So I want to see Davion keep playing. I think he's playing great right now. I would not take him off the floor with how well he's playing right now, 100%. I'm not saying you should cut his minutes. I think Davion has earned every single minute he's getting right now. I don't think he's playing poorly to be taken off the floor. I just think I'm thinking a little bit more Monty McNair brain. I'm thinking a little bit more bigger picture and maybe just looking at alternate guys. But if Davion's on this team, I think he needs to play. I think he is one of the best 8 players on the team, one of the best 9 players on the team. And I definitely think he deserves to have some minutes, and I think he can make an impact. I love how he's really played post All-Star break. I think since he started attacking the rim, he's kind of been a different beast offensively, just in terms of he doesn't really – it felt like in the first half of the season, or first, 2/3 of the season, the offense would just stagnate when he's out there. I mean, he's not really comfortable with having a super quick trigger, a green light, if you will. He really only would shoot if he's wide open. And so there would always be a little bit of hesitation when he's out there. And now you just don't really see that. And so, he definitely brings a lot to the table. I actually really do agree with you, Kingpin, here. What Ellis has in length, Davion has in strength, 100%. And that's why I think they trust Davion still to guard guys like DeRozan, to guard guys, like I think he even switched on Vucevic in that Chicago game. It's because Davion he's built. I mean, and being, having that lower center of gravity, he can move those guys around. Not really trying to shade him. It's just, I just think that I just think Keon provides a little bit more versatility, and just a little bit more of a safety blanket, honestly, because you're especially in the playoffs, you're just switching all over the place, and you just never know who you're gonna end up on. And in a situation like that, it just feels like I personally feel safer with Keon being switched on to more people. Yes. Let's get back to this game, though. Let's focus in back on this game. What's actually something I didn't think about? I'm looking at the box score right here. Anthony Davis, where were you tonight, brother? I mean, you are an all-star, you're an all NBA guy. You are supposed to be better than Domantas Sabonis. And you had 14 points and 11 rebounds tonight. That's good. Like I think that's good for Yusuf Nurkic against Domantas Sabonis, but I thought Anthony Davis was supposed to be better than that. And he looked pretty soft. Sabonis was taking it to him physically. A lot of shoulder action, which you love to see. But yeah, AD really quiet tonight. And thinking about this team, I hate to do it, but thinking about these two teams maybe matching up in a play-in situation, I actually think that that's a clear and obvious advantage Sabonis. I think it's a lot like the same way I view the Chet matchup. Honestly, I think AD obviously provides a little bit more beef than Chet, but I think Sabonis really physically would bring it to AD, and I think AD would crumble. I know AD brings a lot athletically that could give him an edge over Sabonis. Just the length too. I mean, especially just kind of swallowing Sabonis with his with swallowing Sabonis with his length is crazy. Just kind of engulfing Sabonis with his arms and his reach and not allowing him to get much space. I could see how maybe AD could bother him, but I just don't think AD is built for that level of physicality. And I think it'd be a situation where, especially by like game 4, game 5, AD's just like, can we get Braun in the paint or something? Because I can't take it anymore. So it's yeah, and you know what, Kingpin, great point. That's right. Sabonis now, that's fantastic point. Thank you for supporting my argument here. Sabonis now moves to 9-0 all time head to head against Anthony Davis. One of the best stats out there. Wow, like that is insane. Yeah, 9-0 against Anthony Davis, but I do think that there's something to it. Like, will Domantas Sabonis beat Anthony Davis every single time they match up? Probably not. I'm sure AD will get him at some point, but I think that really a part of that is the fact that Sabonis is just the exact kind of guy that Anthony Davis will admit himself, like he doesn't like to play center. He likes to play power forward. For everybody who was spared the Anthony Davis come up story, Anthony Davis, for those of you who don't know, was a guard. He was 6'2", I think, in his senior year or his junior year of high school, and then had a massive growth spurt to the AD we see today being 6'11". So he came up as a guard. And so I say that to say he's not built for the post. He did not come up in basketball, playing against the biggest guys out there. He came up on the perimeter. And he's not one for physicality. And so I think going against a guy like Sabonis, who likes physicality and initiates physicality, I think that's an actual matchup nightmare for AD. And so I do think, at least in that specific part of this matchup, it's clearly advantage Kings to me. And then you look at what De'Aaron did to D'Angelo Russell tonight, or just in general to the Lakers backcourt. I actually feel really good about this matchup. I felt confident about this game coming into it, and exiting it. I just, I never really. It was a little bit scary, of course. The Lakers making a couple comebacks was, there was some legitimate fear. I would say on my end but honestly, it was more based in the fact that we've seen the Kings, drop games like this. It wasn't necessarily that it felt like the Lakers were gaining much momentum. Honestly, this game felt like it was in the Kings' hands and was going to be decided by the Kings the entire night. Like if this definitely would have been the quintessential if the Kings would have lost, it would have been, did the Lakers win or did the Kings lose? And it just kind of felt like the Kings were in control of this one for a majority, if not all of tonight. So love to see that performance out of the lads. because, it's just been few and far between that it's really felt like the Kings have been able to just dominate a game. And this is of course a division opponent, a team that you play, what is it, 4 times a year. And it's great to just kind of go into these matchups and not having that fear. And if you do have to play these guys in the play-in, having that level of familiarity and just not feeling like the moment's too big, I think is a massive advantage. So the Kings also, while we're talking about play-ins and playoff scenarios, this win is actually really massive, because if the Kings would have lost tonight, they only would have been a half game up on the Lakers for the 7 seed, or for the 8 seed. Actually, the Kings would have been at risk of falling into the 9-10 matchup in the play-in. And thankfully, with a win tonight, it's almost like getting 2 wins, because not only does it push you up the standings one, moves the Lakers another game back. So really, really was important for them to get this one. They play the Lakers again next Wednesday, so 7 or 6 days from today. They'll play the Lakers again in Golden One Center. I'm expecting similar results. I didn't see anything tonight. Again, that kind of makes me feel like this Laker team has any sort of matchup advantages or anything that should really bring a lot of fear to the Kings. I think as long as the Kings stay out of foul trouble, and look good offensively themselves, I just don't think the Lakers will present much of a problem. Kings, as we know, go and play the what's their names, the San Antonio Spurs tomorrow at Golden One Center. That should be a great one. Victor Wembanyama has already been ruled out for that one, unfortunately. So everybody who bought your tickets and were hoping to go see Wemby, he unfortunately will not be suited up tomorrow, which, if you've been watching the Kings all year, you know that the Spurs probably know that that's the best possible thing that the Spurs could do, is to rest their best player, because the Kings have been terrible all year when the other team's best player is out. So they're going to have to try and avoid that dreaded curse, I guess you can call it, tomorrow, which also has been a problem. Coming back home has been a problem for this team. I believe they've lost their last 3 homecomings, if you will, like coming back from a road trip or even a road game in general. Their first game back home, they have not been good at all. I don't know what that's about. I don't think today's travel plans are going to help at all. With them playing tomorrow, I'm pretty sure they're wrapping up at the arena right now. They're probably going to get on a plane. I would imagine they probably try and take off within the hour. I would guess they try and take off by 11:45, definitely by 12. They're going to land back here in Sacramento probably around 1 o'clock. Probably won't be hitting their heads to the beds until about 2 this morning. They'll have shoot around tomorrow at probably 11, and then have to be back at the arena probably around 4. So the NBA does not stop at this time of year. And it's going to be an interesting matchup tomorrow. The Kings, of course, should win it, especially with Wemby out. The Spurs I think they have 9 wins this year. They're not legitimately a team that should, at this point in the season, be giving you problems. We've seen that hasn't stopped the Kings from making those games difficult. The Spurs have won 13 games this year. It should be an easy one tomorrow. Absolutely. We shouldn't be afraid to say it. The Kings should win tomorrow because they are playing a team that is the worst team in the Western Conference by far. Hopefully they can do it. If not, man, oh man, you better join tomorrow after, because we're going to have some things to say and some things to talk about. Y'all have a fantastic night. I'm going to hop off here. I need to go look at that beam and try and enjoy the rest of my night, as this 7:30 tip did kind of throw me off. I can't lie. Y'all have a fantastic night. Go enjoy that beam. Bye-bye now.